All right. First 2022 review of a 2022 movie in 2022. Now, here's the thing with this movie before we really get into it. If you haven't heard of this movie and you like the actors, you like the genre, you like my review that I'll do of the movie, my suggestion is just go watch it. Don't read the description that's on Amazon. It's an Amazon Prime original movie. Don't read anything about it. Just go watch it first, because the movie does something that I will talk about eventually that for me really changed how I watched the movie. But I'm sure that's very confusing. So let's just start off with a normal chit chat about the movie. It's pretty good. My Son. Okay, so this is the new James McAvoy movie that is in an like I said, James McAvoy movie. It's an Amazon original movie. I really wanted to see this movie, so fair warning, this wasn't a suggestion by any of you, but it was a trailer that I saw last year, and in the trailer they explain to you what's going on with the movie, and it was enough to make a movie buff like me want to see it. Now, like I said, there's something going on with this movie, and it's a remake, I believe, of a foreign film. I have no information regarding that, but I'm going to talk about this movie in two chunks. We'll do a standard review here at the beginning, and then if you like what you hear, I'll give you a second to switch me off and go check it out, and then come back and finish it if you want. It's not spoilers for the story of the movie. It'll make sense when we get there. So, My Son stars James McAvoy as, I think his name was Frank. I feel like the wife called him something else at one point. Either way, he's playing a father whose son has gone missing. Whether he's been kidnapped or if he's fallen in a river, we don't know. That's the mystery of the movie. And McAvoy sets off on a quest to find his son. It's pretty standard fare. Now, number one, is the movie worth seeing? Yes, I think it's worth a watch, especially since it's a streaming movie. McAvoy's a great actor. There's not a lot of stuff I've seen him in where he's been bad. So I'm kicking my light stand. I really got to clean it here. And the movie is absolutely beautiful. Okay, wait, hang on. That sounds like I'm overselling it. It's absolutely beautiful. It's set in Scotland, and there's lots of wide shots of the Scottish countryside. Now, if somebody's in Scotland, they're probably just like, yeah, that's the river down by Ma's house. But for somebody like me that lives in Canada, those shots and the lighting and everything were beautiful, and I really liked seeing that, and I applaud the filmmakers for doing that. I'm a big sucker for gorgeous cinematography, so that was kind of a no-brainer. To get back on track, I'm just gonna call him James McAvoy because clearly I can't remember his character's name. Frank, right? No. He goes through the rigmarole of suspecting people here. You know, he's separated from his wife, who he has his son with. She's got a new husband. There's suspicion there. Goes down a rabbit hole, and eventually the police start questioning him, and then the police are put off the case. And it's a really well put together crime thriller. Thriller, if not fairly by the book. It doesn't really stand out amongst the genre in terms of what's going on or even the way it plays out. And honestly, the ending was fairly generic, and then the actual ending to me really upset me. Not really upset me, like I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. It's a kind of ending where you're just like, oh, come on! Aside from that, I really enjoyed it. It's not super gripping or anything, but McAvoy's performance as this father going through the turmoil, and obviously I sympathize with that. Hello. It was on point. He did a great job. Everybody else in this movie, I don't know if they're just like local actors to Scotland, or they've probably been in a whole bunch of movies, and somebody's going to be like, well, this person was this and this person was that, and you're a bad movie reviewer. Be nice. But I wasn't familiar with any of the other cast. And as functional as they were, that's all they really were. Again, it sort of has to do with what's going on, and we will get to that eventually. You know what? For your time and for your money, if you're paying whatever it might be in America, here in Canada, I think it's like $80, $85 a year for Amazon Prime, and then you get the video streaming service as kind of like a bonus. This movie's absolutely worth it, and it wasn't a bad way to kick off my 2022 movies. My Son, I will give a very solid 7 out of 10. Now, don't leave, because I do want to talk about what is actually going on in this movie. Hang on. We do got to kind of get through it quick. I got a live stream I got to do pretty soon. But the cool with this movie is that every actor in the movie was given a script except McAvoy, apparently. Right? So he has to act and react and respond to what is happening on the fly. Which, when you first hear it, that's pretty cool. What is he going to do? And to his credit, if that is true and we take all of that at face value, he did an outstanding job. And it just goes to show how good of an actor he is. If he doesn't know what the actor he's sharing a scene with is going to say, it sure doesn't come across like he was struggling at all. And it's really kind of cool. As a sort of movie-making experiment, I can appreciate that angle, or shtick, as I like to say. But knowing that going into the movie is almost more of a distraction. And that's why I said I wanted to talk about it separately. And if, well, hopefully you've seen the movie now. If you're just sticking around because you don't care and it sounds intriguing to you now, go watch it and let me know if you had the same experience. Because knowing that he had no script and he went into this movie blind, that's all I could really think about when I'm watching it. So now I'm plagued with the thoughts like, okay, he's the only one in this scene. How did he know where to drive his car? You know what I mean? Or there's this scene where he meets up with his wife's new boyfriend, and the way the scene plays out, like, it never comes across improv. It comes across as any other movie, which, like I said, could be an argument for James McAvoy's talent. Or if you're like me and you start to look into it too much, like, are they just lying to me? Like, was this just some sort of weird gimmick to get me to watch the movie? Because, like, he had to have had bullet points, you know, like that with that scene, he had to have known that it has to end with him punching his lights out, right? Because then the next scene is at the police station. Like, he has to have at least have a structure of the scene. So I don't know. It's hard when I mean, I didn't read any details. It's just in the blurb. And like I said, it was in the trailer that McAvoy had no idea what was going on. They don't say that, but they say you don't have a script, right? As cool as it is more distracting. And it's like, if I was McAvoy, well, I just would have messed with people. Like, just, I don't want to spoil too much, so I'm not going to talk much more outside of that one scene where he's meeting with the boyfriend. But he had to have known that he has to become suspicious of him. Because if he doesn't, if I knew that, or actually I should say, if I didn't know that going in, I should have been like, oh, nice to meet you. Or immediately I would have been like, you're an asshole. And then I stab him to death. And now the entire story has changed. You know what I mean? Like, he had to have known, well, you're going to have dialogue in this scene. You don't know what the other actor's going to say. But the ultimate outcome is you got to knock his lights out because you're going to go to jail for it in the next scene. So right there, that kind of plays with the whole degree of impressiveness. What I think would make for a better movie, as good as My Son was, and as much as I did enjoy it, I think a behind the scenes documentary of McAvoy's process would be far more interesting, just so we actually get the A to Z of that entire process. Who knows? Maybe we will. Have you guys seen My Son on Amazon Prime Video? If you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And as always, throw me some suggestions for movies you want to see. I've got a list compiling. The next ones on the docket are probably like Tombstone and Soylent Green, stuff like that. But yeah, let me know, and I will see you all in the next one.